And that's the look that we're going to roll with. The surprised, wide-eyed, lazy geek is what we'll call that. Again, I continue to just nail that. That timing with the hitting live and the end of our video intro. like like there is
Good
no room.
Lord.
There is no margin for error.
Not a lot, no.
No, none at all. Like if I ever have the slightest hint of lag, it's over. But anyway, hey, welcome back, Atomic Geeks, number 13. We're going to call this Shooting the Breeze 2. Because, honestly, we had such a great time a couple weeks ago with the open mic night that, we all just we didn't particularly feel like strongly about, going back to a particular video game or movie. Although if it being the Christmas season, I think we will do a Christmas themed episode. And honestly, there's enough to talk about with Christmas. We could probably just make that a open mic Christmas centric episode.
So what do you love about
Give me the doll.
I have a soft spot for that movie. I'm not going to lie. It gets so much hate. It gets so much hate, but I don't care.
It's. I need to go back and watch it. I still have it on VHS.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. I'm amazed you have a VHS. Young one.
Actually, now that I think,
You
I
actually-
think we got rid of our VHS player. So
I was about to say, do you actually still have a VCR?
no, man, I wish we did. I'd watch the full out of some of those movies.
I did too. I'm surprised I actually didn't burn through a few VHSs back in the day.
Ugh.
But yeah, so number 13, Shooting the Breeze, number 2. Again, just kind of the open mic format. We'll just kind of go wherever the conversation leads us. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. We completely forgot that last episode. I realized it well after the fact. Whoops. So there's the usual. And then special shout out to Checkpoint Gaming for sharing our page and trying to help us generate some more activity and viewership. So
Quick plug to Checkpoint Gaming. Come on down. Checkpoint Gaming. They got Pokemon cards, Magic cards, all kinds of fun and exciting things. You could learn a new hobby.
For all the formalities, that is this not a paid promotion, just some locals helping out some locals. No paid promotion in that. So just good people taking care of good people. So any other business before we get going? Anything anybody? I
don't think so.
Oh,
I do.
Zesty has
want
business.
to say there have been 2 trailers that have dropped for movies that I would like to maybe do an episode on at some point. And one of them is Violent Night, which is the Santa Claus.
I was waiting on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting on that one. That one actually looks fun.
Yeah, and I think it's out. I think I saw something that it's already got reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and all that. And I think, and then the other one is Cocaine Bear. It's about the bear that ate 70 pounds of cocaine in Knoxville, Tennessee. He was
and then went on a cocaine
rampage.
Through
For about 30 minutes, he was the apex predator on the planet.
It's our hometown hero.
Yeah, he was a 175-pound black bear. In 1985, he ate 70 pounds of cocaine.
Man,
he ate over a third of his body weight in cocaine.
He's the Charlie Sheen of bears.
Yeah. And it looks extremely gory, but also kind of funny. Like,
was it a male? Was it a male black bear?
I'm not. I can look it up real quick. Hold up.
Because if it was, then he should have been named Charlie Sheen instead of just Charlie Sheen the bear.
I'm pretty sure.
Or just Charlie for short. How many cubs do you think he sired during that time?
In fact, he just replaced the entire black bear population
Yep.
with his offspring. That's all that exists now is his descendants.
Just the descendants of Cocaine Bear.
I'm all cracked out on cocaine.
And there's our first 6 minutes. There you go.
One of the articles says the pillaged cache reportedly contained 88 pounds of nose candy.
Phew. That's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not seeing what gender the bear is. I guess they're just more concerned about the fact that a bear ate like $14 million in cocaine.
You definitely wasn't gonna get it back.
Yeah.
No, I mean, really, all you can do at that point is just kind of sit back and watch. And
the trailer looks hysterical. I
need to check it. I saw the headline for it, but I didn't actually click on it.
Yeah, I actually watched the trailer for it 2 days ago.
It looks like it's gonna be really gory, but
one of those random, you know how you get like a random like pop up feed or something in like Facebook or YouTube, or because they're listening. But it popped up in my feed, and I was just like, "What the heck is this crap? Cocaine Bear?" And then it
like this can't be real.
Oh yeah, I was thinking this is based on true story, and I was like, "What?
Yeah,
what true story are we talking about here?"
I knew about him.
Based on true story, so
I knew about him before because I'd seen a taxidermy of him, and like a picture of it, and it was telling the story on iFunny, and I was like, "This is fantastic." I was laughing so hard, just rolling.
So at what point do you say that it died of unnatural causes?
Oh, they said it only lived for about 30 minutes before it OD'd. But for 30 minutes, it was an unstoppable force. It felt no pain.
There wasn't even an immovable object for it to face. It broke the immovable object.
Well, in the trailer, he's chasing down an ambulance and hops in the back of it. And proceeds to eat everybody. So
I've seen that.
And I'm like, God,
oh my gosh.
It looks like it's gonna be a riot. And I really want to see Violent Night. I keep wanting to call it Silent Night. It is not gonna be silent.
Not with that title.
No. I think the synopsis basically says like this family's getting threatened and Santa takes arms or something like that.
I mean, it could be like Robot Santa, from Futurama. Those are some of the best episodes of Futurama. So, and I guess really I did think of an order of business. So Voice will not be joining us this evening. So it will just be this trio here. Hopefully the Voice will catch us on the next one. So
yeah, he could possibly be under the weather.
Yeah, and unfortunately.
So right now it says for Violent Night, the official reviewer score is 69%. Nice. And the audience score is 90%. So apparently people really like the general public like it.
That's actually a pretty decent split. I mean, you really got to worry when and I'm like 90% fans loved it, 10% critics,
yeah.
When you got like a really wide swing either way, sometimes that can be a really big indicator. Like if all the critics love it, but people hate it, or all the people love it and all the critics hate it,
it's kind of a toss-up.
The truth's somewhere in the middle.
I usually base it on what do the people say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because since this is like since back in the days of what was it, Ebert, Cisco and Ebert, or
Siskel.
Siskel and Ebert. Yeah, those
Cisco.
two jokers. Those guys,
Yeah.
they said that they like movies, and I would go watch the movie. They would give it rave ratings. I'd go and look at this movie, and I was like, this is garbage.
Yeah.
Who would want to sit and watch this? Who would want to pay money and watch this?
And that was back when, like they really were just about the only critic, before all this kind of wide, like resource gathering of reviews. But here lately it's like, I really don't trust it. It's hard for me to trust something that has, a whole lot of critics raving about it. Because there's been
the thing is like, I have to ask. I mean, that's my first question is, okay, who's getting a little side business?
Well, even if they ain't getting side business, depending on the movie, some of it's they're protecting an agenda.
Well, yeah.
Most of the critics are the kind of guys that watch a movie and see somebody describe red curtains, and they're like, the red curtains mean that he was showing great emotion and anger. No, the curtains are red.
Just because the curtains are red.
Yeah. The curtains are just red.
And
they're like analyzing deep sub themes that don't exist.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of one of the. Right now. I'm in the ballpark, and you all probably agree with me on this. But if there's somebody, if you get, hundreds and thousands of people that go and watch a film, go and watch a movie, they like the hype of the movie to begin with, by the trailer alone. And then they go watch the movie, and they don't come out saying, well, this is a steaming turd, because all the best parts were literally what made up the trailer. The rest of it was, yeah.
Yeah.
But they come back out and they're like, yes,
they hid the best stuff.
What they promised.
It was a really good movie. There's lots of stuff that they didn't show in the trailer, that you didn't hit all the funny parts in the trailer, and then the rest of it you just kind of phoned it in.
Right.
But if you get a bunch of people that give it, 4 and 5 star reviews right out the gate, I'm more apt to trust them with, I guess relaying, was the movie actually good? Did it actually entertain? Or was it, I feel like I'm trying, I feel like they totally side railed what the actual plot of the movie was supposed to be, to work some kind of weird agenda or some kind of weird message into the movie that
really message didn't have any bearing on the plot. as the critical drinker would say.
Yeah. So like the plot of Violent Night is when a team of mercenaries breaks into a wealthy family compound on Christmas Eve, taking everyone inside hostage. The team isn't prepared for a surprise combat Santa Claus.
Well,
and he's on grounds, and he's about to show why this Nick ain't no saint.
Well, and anymore, because of the way Hollywood has been, you almost gotta look for the just completely absurd to try and find fun
goofy movies.
I'm still here, but I'm gonna go off cam for just a minute.
Okay. But yeah, like I said, I think there's a lot of critics that are protecting agendas.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like Disney has the armor, the critic armor on now. And you had that matchup where the critics and the audiences lined up. But if you've noticed, especially for like Marvel Phase 4, that seems to be drifting.
Yeah.
More and more and more. and you can't help but question it.
A good comparison I can come up with is I just watched like recently the history of the Godzilla franchise,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like it was really funny because they had like a bunch of really popular good movies in the beginning. Then somebody got a hold of it to try and make more money, ruined it, and then uh, they came back, tried to fix it, made another good string of movies, and then somebody got a hold of it to make money and ruined it again.
As I've learned, there's a lot of different eras to Godzilla.
Oh man,
It's in a lot of
man.
ways, it's actually really it just kind of occurred to me, it's not that different than the Bond franchise, if you think about it.
Yeah.
The Bond series has a lot of different eras, and depending on your style and preference and all that, there's a different Bond era for everybody. And not everybody walks away liking, every flavor of Bond or every Bond movie. But yeah, I mean, Godzilla is very, he's had some very serious like streaks, and then there's some very campy.
Well,
Yeah, if you look, all the serious ones were the ones that did really, really well.
Yeah.
Well, the Shin Godzilla.
Yes.
That one was
Shin Godzilla was terrifying.
That was scary.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have messed with your brains a little bit.
Well, he's just like he crawls out of the muck in pain, like just screaming in agony, and that's the entire movie is just him in agony trying to kill everything and make it hurt as much as he does.
Yeah. I mean, like when the thing comes running in and it's literally like pushing itself because it doesn't have arms or anything yet.
It started out so freaky.
Yeah.
And it was like, what the heck is that? That ain't Godzilla. And then then it starts transforming. But every time it transforms, it's like, yuck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Like, oh gosh.
It's a violent.
I tell you what.
Well,
the scene where he fires off his first blast is one of the most like goosebump inducing, like bone chilling experiences I have ever seen in cinema. Like, have you actually watched the scene where he fires off his first laser?
Yeah, we've seen it.
Yeah. Oh, the sounds, the CG, the fact that it starts off as like, a flamethrower and then slowly condenses into like a solid laser. And
Mm-hmm.
oh
it
god.
focuses down, comes down.
Yeah. And then it's just like and he just slices through buildings. God, that was one of the best in like any cinema I have ever seen. It was just so bone chilling.
I got a fly in here, and it's a little bitty fly like this big, and it keeps dive bombing my
like a
face.
gnat.
Like, no, it's not a gnat. It's actually like a little house fly, and you see me keep over here, I'll swat, and I'm over here, oh, bees, or some crap.
Bees.
Bees.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So they won't leave me alone.
Well,
anyway.
So while we're on, I'll go. So while we're, we kind of dove right on into cinema.
Sorry.
No. I mean, we're here. I was going to start us off a little bit lighter, but we're already here. So let's kind of like I said, since we're already here, let's dive on into that indie trailer. That I wish wasn't. I don't know. I wish it wasn't. Because I feel like from what I've seen in the trailer, I see a lot lining up with the rumors, and that's not a good thing. And it's one of those things like I want to like. It's like you actually know the apocalypse is coming, but you still can't get anybody to believe you, and like you have evidence now.
2012,
and it's like
I'm trying.
Like I see all these people celebrating it. And I'm like, you don't know. You really don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll be wrong. But there's a lot.
I would really hope to be wrong.
I would like to be wrong. because
I
that's
would gladly take it. I would gladly take it and say, you know what, I'm wrong.
I'll take the loss, but based on the rumors, if anybody follows Doomcock, I do right now feel like this is a hashtag Doomcock was right scenario.
Doomcock was right again.
Yeah. I mean, from the rumors he had heard, and he wasn't the only one running with it. There's other places, even a few, like, I think a website publication ran with it. Yeah, based on the trailer, there's stuff lining up with it that I'm not interested in a time traveling movie with a CG Indy just for him to be phased out and be replaced, just so Disney can make movies with their new person that wants to replace. That's the new Indy. I'm not on board with that.
See,
And
I've been kind of done with Indiana Jones anyway. Like,
well,
after Crystal Skull, like, because I was still kind of young when Crystal Skull came out, and I enjoyed Crystal Skull, and like I enjoyed watching it, and
then you got older.
And then I was like talking about it, like how much I enjoyed the movie to like some of the people around me, and the amount of, well, that's fine, but you're wrong, that I got in response. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm done. I guess I'm just wrong. And like I went back and watched some of the older movies that people like rave about, and I was just like, yeah, they're good, but like I don't see like some of it. Like some of the really old ones.
The
Like I
thing with the
enjoyed Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I
Yeah, I was gonna say
enjoyed
the thing with the Indiana Jones franchise, and this is what I kind of noticed, is that the first one that I watched, which was honestly the scarier one to watch, which was
I know what you're about to say.
was basically the one, the Temple of Doom. Because I mean, these people getting their hearts ripped out, there's monkey brains. I mean, it was for a young kid, it was a rough movie. And
yeah,
bugs. Oh my gosh, the centipedes crawling around that lady's hair and stuff.
That movie
I was
went
screaming
hard.
with it. I was like, oh gosh, But
what was the one where it took place in a casino? Like the start of it was in a casino.
That's
and they were like,
it really wasn't
men.
it was a nightclub.
It was
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I did not enjoy that one. Like I really lost interest really quickly.
That one was
I love Temple of Doom. It's not my favorite of them. It doesn't rank high for me. I mean, compared to the others, but I love Temple of Doom. There's just something about it.
Yeah, the thing about that one though is that it was all in one area. Basically, you're looking at kind of like an area like India or Southeast Asia, kind of that kind of area. So you're looking
portion
at
of the world.
Yeah, that portion of the world, but it didn't leave. Like they started in that area, it finished in that area.
Yeah.
Where the other movies, and that's what I really liked about Indiana Jones franchises, it specifically
world traveling adventure.
The other two of the first three, which was obviously The Last Crusade, which is by far my all-time favorite Indiana Jones movie.
Last Crusade's my favorite as well.
And then the Ark, the Lost Ark. Those two.
Raiders of the Lost
Raiders
Ark.
of the Lost Ark, yeah.
Yeah.
So those two movies are like hands down of that era. They are some of the most fun, just enjoyable movies.
Well, they were,
in my book.
Lucas kind of, he based them on the old radio serials, and that was the theme he was going for.
Yeah.
And so I'll say, and see, I mean, you hit on Crystal Skull, Zesty.
Yeah.
And I get, like a lot of people around that time, Yeah, and at that point, Harrison was still young enough. I was geeking out. I was ready. I was so excited. I mean, Spielberg and Lucas got together to do that one. It had all the ingredients. And I watched it, and I was just like, I did not feel the magic of the originals. The magic wasn't there, and I get that Indy has always dealt with, a lot of different, kind of fantastic concepts, and as a Christian, especially the Ark, the Holy Grail, but even outside of that with the Shankara stones, all these ideas, but it's just like I just feel like they went too far with some of the stuff in Crystal. And especially let's just be honest. I mean, again, there's stunts, there's a level of realism, but nuking the damn fridge, come on.
Lined with lead.
Come on.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was hysterical, him rolling out of that fridge like beaten all to hell. I thought that was hysterical.
It broke the realism. Because it was still just, I mean, again, you're dealing with these things in the series, but it was still just grounded enough.
I was about to say, weren't you the one that said last time that you wanted a fantasy thing?
About, what do you mean?
Just in movies. That's why you don't watch like war movies and stuff. Is like because you want it to be fantastical and stuff.
I do, but like when you set the rules for a series, I still want them to adhere to that. Like, but that's what I'm saying though. Like,
yeah,
I get that you've still deal with these fantastical, these magical, these elements, but they were still in a grounded way. Nuking that fridge, you're
that close to nuclear, any kind of nuclear explosion. It doesn't matter.
But even then,
lead.
I didn't care. I didn't care for Shia's character.
Well, see, that's what I was going to say. I was just going to say, let's just blame Shia LaBeouf.
He was annoying. There were some things to like about it. Don't get me wrong, but and this is where to go back to the Indy 5 trailer. Even if whether or not the rumors are true or not, my stance on Indy, honestly, is it's a trilogy. I don't even acknowledge Crystal Skull. So this isn't some blind hate of like, the rumors or wherever Indy 5's going. No, I don't acknowledge Crystal Skull. Indiana Jones is a trilogy. But and my defense of that is because you have this perfect ending with Last Crusade.
Right off into the sunset.
Right off into the sunset. And that's Last Crusade is what I use when I make the argument that, some franchises should have an ending and should be left ended. Leave it alone. You can make something great and you should leave it alone. Because now we're at this point, diminishing returns, we're beating a dead horse. You got, Crystal Skull out there. You've got what's coming, and if the rumors are true, and even if the rumors aren't true, I have no interest in an old Indy. I mean, hell, they about killed Harrison filming the movie. I mean,
yeah.
So to me, regardless, it's a trilogy, and honestly, the father-son, mechanic, the plot, the nature of that story of Last Crusade. Just it speaks so much to me, and like I said, riding off into the sunset is a perfect ending. You can't beat that. So that's where I lie with Indy. But Last Crusade is my favorite.
Yeah, that's mine. It has nothing to do with that. It's set during kind of at the onset of the Second World War.
That's true. You and I both are very big World War II buffs.
I am.
It has nothing to do with that at all.
I like the World War II history and stuff.
Yeah, and playing into a little bit of kind of. we know, the Nazis were trying and some of the stuff they were looking into, and it played well with that era. And but yeah, Raiders, if I had to rank them, I would say Last Crusade, Raiders, then Temple. And it's not even a knock on Temple that it's last. Because I really enjoy Temple.
That's how I feel. I like Temple. I like Temple of Doom just because. And honest to goodness, I mean, there were some people who said that they didn't like Short Round's character. They said he was annoying, and I was like, that was kind of the point.
I don't know.
But he was helpful. Short Round. I mean, he was actually helpful.
I enjoyed Short Round. Like, he didn't bug me at all for the first 20 minutes that I watched Temple of Doom. Like, he was not a bother to me at all. I thought he was kind of just a goofy little character.
He never bothered me either. Now, maybe some of that comes from watching it as a kid. So as a kid, it's a kid character. Maybe I can connect with it. I don't know. But honestly, I've never.
Look, Lady Strongbridge.
Compared to some other movies that suddenly throw in a random child character, no, Short Round was hardly annoying at all. I mean, because there's a lot of franchises that they throw in that child character, and yeah, it does tank it. And good God, they're obnoxious and you just no. Short Round never really bothered me growing up and watching it, but and it's kind of offset because like they don't really protect him, like most kid characters in a movie like that. He still has to face
protected at all costs.
Like he still faces the same very serious dark shit Indy's facing.
Oh yeah, he does.
They don't pull the punches with him either.
He's fighting that little Indian dude up on the top rope up there.
Yeah.
He's up there, got his voodoo doll out.
So, but yeah, I'm probably going to start my anti-Indy 5 campaign and try my best to. People don't listen to me. It's all right. I'm used to it, but I'm going to sing it. I'm going to sing it anyway. Don't see it, and hopefully this will be the final nail in the coffin for KK because I'm just she needs to go away.
Well, yeah, I heard that Disney was bringing Iger back.
Oh, he is back.
Or is back, yes.
Yeah.
He is back. They have brought him back.
Which, I don't know. I mean, I would argue, yeah, Chapek was in charge for 3 years, but it's kind of like at that point, is it still enough time that you've really erased or done any major changes from Iger? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a business guy, but yeah, in the grand scheme of a business, it's like he's probably still writing a lot of Iger's stuff. So you bring Iger back, the guy that handed Chapek this.
He basically handed him a steaming pile and lit the bag on fire and said, "Here you go."
That's my view on it. Everybody's like, I'm in agreement that it's it's just going to be Disney, the same old Disney.
I don't have any faith in the fact that they might actually take a note from some of these other places that are actually doing a halfway decent job at putting out movies that are entertaining, which is their job.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you pay for, is you pay for to be entertained. And it doesn't help too that instead of trying to really get things going again by releasing movies that are just good movies that stand on their own two legs to try to help the market come back. Because I mean, look at the theaters. I mean, people are like, I want to go to the theater. I love watching movies in the theater, and I want to go watch movies in the theater, but there's nothing being released that's worth a crap to go watch.
Mm-mm. And
I'm not paying 12,
I've,
$17, $25 to go see it.
I, you know, I can count on one hand, and I was just talking to somebody the other day about this. About kind of the what the pandemic has created and what
Yeah.
it did, and I said I have no drive to go back to theaters. I can count on one hand the amount of movies I have seen since the beginning of the pandemic to now, since they shut everything down, and I can count on one hand. There's nothing driving me back. And based on what I'm reading, I don't think I'm missing much for some of the stuff that normally would have had my butt in the theater.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've missed anything.
Well, I haven't. I mean, really haven't.
I mean,
There's a few movies that people have said, "Well, you didn't go see that in the theater." I'm like, no, I actually didn't.
Yeah,
And
I still don't have a drive to go back.
And I'm like, I missed that. I do miss that because it was fun going out, getting everybody together, go catch a movie, hit the Chick-fil-A or whatever, whatever's around.
See if we can't get Zesty a sack full of sauce in a date.
Buffalo sauce and a date.
Man. Not to like redirect, but I 100%.
Well, you don't want a date?
Well, anyway,
well.
I think we ought to just give all the rights to all this stuff to the Japanese, because apparently they do a better job anyway.
Hey, that's what we talked about. The last Shootin' the Breeze. I keep wanting to say last week. It's been 2 weeks since we did this.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the last episode. No, you're right. I mean, they continue to respect their characters and just have good fun stories. We'll beat that dead horse again. I don't care.
Yeah. Like one of the good examples again was Godzilla. They came back and knocked it out of the park with this latest trilogy.
Yeah.
With the first one with the Mutos, Godzilla, just Godzilla. Then they had the one King of Monsters. King of Monsters, I could watch that one back to back 2 or 3 times in a row.
That one was really good.
That one was.
Godzilla versus Kong wasn't my all-time favorite, but it was still a good movie.
They lost me on that one with the Mecha Godzilla design. I just did not care for that Mecha Godzilla design.
It was it was wonky.
It looked like a giant iguana.
Yeah. But
and I just love the old school Mecha Godzilla design. I was just looking for something a little more in line with that.
Godzilla?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I will say they may not have done very well on that, but the fight scene with Mecha Godzilla was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I just like Kong.
Oh yeah,
I thought Kong was excellent.
And that's another case of, you know what? Sometimes I just want to go and have some fun.
Oh
good,
man,
mindless roller coaster fun.
That was the thing about Godzilla. It was mindless. It was just, hey, let's toss these giant monsters into an area, let them wreck the joint out, and beat the crap out of each other. That was it, and it was wonderful.
And I'll interject this, but that's not to knock some of the more serious aspects of Godzilla, where like the original movie was very much an anti-nuclear message and was a very grim, dark movie. I've actually before Godzilla versus Kong came out, I finally actually sat down and watched the original black and white.
Oh yeah,
and it's actually because sometimes it's hard to go back and watch some of that older stuff. And you can even make the argument on old video games. It hurts my eyes.
This is just hard to play.
When I really sat down and watched it, it was really good.
Yeah, no, the story was top notch. Like that was the thing was when I was watching the history of the Godzilla films. The first Godzilla released in Japan, and it was an astounding success. And then they were like, let's duplicate this in America. And so they released it in America. Well, this was right after the war, and they wanted to remove any and all negative connotations towards the U.S. And they saw that as they saw the anti-nuclear message as an anti-U.S. message, and so they removed a bunch of like the original content.
Well, they also added
it
the
flopped.
American actor in the
Yes.
U.S. version.
Yeah, and it flopped hard.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, at that point, it was just a big monster, and nobody cared.
Right.
Because what used to be like a good story became just a monster flick like any other.
Well, and that's why, I seem to remember, I think it was, kind of back in elementary school, the old book fairs. I know you'd remember those, Lazy.
Yep.
Like some of those Universal monster books, and I seem to remember a few of them. Like, I think they were like an orange cover, if I remember right. But it would talk. But anyway, like Godzilla, I think somehow got lumped in with some of those. It may not have even been the book fair. It may have just been in the library. Just real thin little kids' books. But yeah, the Universal monsters. But I remember there's one of Godzilla, and it's like he was lumped in with them, even though he wasn't. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one that had like Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein, which was always funny because you still hear people, Frankenstein was the name of the doctor, not the monster. But whatever.
I know.
It's irrelevant.
It's Frankie.
Frankie.
Frankenstein.
Speaking of Frankenstein, though, do you guys remember the live action Frankenstein? Like the one of the newer ones? Yeah, I Am Frankenstein. Did you go watch that one?
Yeah.
Tactical, did you?
I'm drawing a blank on that one.
This is where he basically has been alive since whenever he got
revived,
created or whatever in the lab.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he's been just roaming the earth fighting off evil stuff. And
yeah, they keep hunting him down.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see that one.
Oh man, it was good.
It was it on Netflix? Or was it on Prime?
Optimus Prime?
Sure. No, it was something like that.
It came out in 2014. The director was Stuart Beatty. Trying to see. I'm not seeing any names that I know, but it says Aaron Eckhart.
God bless you.
Bill Nye and Miranda Otto.
Huh. Yeah, these are names I'm familiar with, but no, I have not seen it. Didn't catch it.
Oh, it was a fantastic movie. The CG was on point. It was, in my opinion, an excellent story. But yeah, the whole thing was basically he got revived by Frankenstein, and the way Frankenstein revived him was basically, the typical, sent like massive amounts of electricity into him and revived him. Well, all that energy basically made him an immortal, unstoppable monster. And he just kind of wanders the earth, and demons are trying to hunt him down because I don't want to spoil the movie, but yeah, like
okay.
If I get too far into it, it just kind of ruins.
Next
the whole
thing you know,
plot.
you've told me the whole thing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to take you out back and beat you with a rubber hose. It's okay.
Yep.
It's okay.
But it was,
or take you to Chick-fil-A and make you get a date.
Yeah, that'll be fine. That's not a punishment.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not I Am. It's just I Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, I Frankenstein.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I have heard of it, but yeah, and part of it probably comes from I've just never traditionally been a big Frankenstein or really even the Universal Monster fan myself. So it's not something I would really probably go out of my way to go see. I would need a lot of like encouragement, be like, yeah, it's really good. Go check it out.
Yeah, it was
kind of thing.
a good movie. It wasn't anything, like crazy, but it was definitely worth the watch.
Okay.
Yeah, it was one of those. It was one of those, just a good kind of like
A
kind of like
darker, edgier, just
Blade or
good movie.
trying to think, what was the Underworld?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like
That was talk about a series that they beat a dead horse with. Good lord.
no doubt. But it was kind of like a
That was the
B
first
version of Underworld.
Okay.
It was
You know,
good. It was a good
I'm-
movie. I'm not saying
speaking
that
of,
it's a bad thing. It was a good movie.
yeah. No, because like, speaking of Underworld, it's like, I really enjoyed the first one.
Yeah.
And
I did
then
too.
it just kind of kept going and going and going.
Until they're in the future and they've managed to splice some genes or
Oh my
something and make a
gosh.
giant
That one.
lichen. And
I mean, they might as well have done that one was basically the equivalent of like any other horror franchise where it's like, let's go to space. Yeah. Let's take critters to
Jason in
space.
space.
Let's take Jason to space. Let's take the leprechaun to space. If it goes to space, although I will say Jason X was actually kind of a lot of fun.
Yeah, it
Even
was.
it was just mindless, stupid fun. But
when
I
they
think
put
that's
him in that hologram,
yeah,
with the two girls, and he's beating one to death with another one in a sleeping bag.
I will give them that. That is like the one exception to the space rule when it comes to a franchise. Other than that,
Yeah.
Although Critters kind of made sense because it always had a little bit of a space hook, because they
were supposed to be from outer space.
They were from space. You had the bounty hunters always coming to get them or trying to get them.
Trying to catch them.
But when they put the whole Critters movie in space, it was, and Leprechaun too.
I'd done lost interest in Leprechaun. The only Leprechaun movie I watched was the first one, and I thought it was,
silly.
Yeah, it was
really, really silly. Like, because I'm trying to think. Around the time it would come out, I don't know if Sci-Fi was out yet, but if Sci-Fi had been there, that should have been a Sci-Fi original.
That should have been a Sci-Fi movie.
A Sci-Fi original.
Yeah. What was one of the? There was one that Sci-Fi put out that it was absolutely just ridiculous.
There's a long list.
I remember. Well, no, I remember we specifically we talked about it, and we were sitting there like, I kind of want to watch it. I kind of want to tune in.
I'll be honest, I don't remember. There's so many now.
I can't remember what it was.
Man, I'm looking at these reviews on the iFrankenstein, and it's so weird how they rate things. It's like one of them said, it was a good movie, but by far from the best. And then it's like his rating, 1 out of 5. I'm like, what you just said and what you rated are not the same thing.
That reads more like a 3 out of 5 stars or something.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of review sites though that are bad for that. Like,
I was looking at the Rotten Tomatoes, and even the audience score is really bad for that movie. But I enjoyed it, and that's the thing is,
but you enjoy a lot of things, Zesty.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing is like I get.
You enjoyed Crystal Skull.
I get so tired of listening to people tell me how wrong I am for enjoying things, and I'm like, you could just stop being such a sourpuss and enjoy life.
Yeah.
It's like, if you can find joy in things and not just hop on the bandwagon of this is terrible, so I'm not going to enjoy it.
You enjoyed Crystal Skull.
I enjoyed parts of Crystal Skull. Okay. Like the part where she got that one lady got eaten by the giant ants.
Don't get me wrong. There are a few scenes in it that are redeemable. But yeah, like I said, as a whole, I don't. Indy's a trilogy.
Also, it was hysterical when Shia LaBeouf got stung by the scorpion, and he's like, "Well, how big was it? Huge. Okay, then you're fine."
That was a good line, and and accurate, and
Yeah,
very accurate. I mean, everything I've
s-
ever heard about scorpions is
yeah.
yeah.
Well, the little ones can't control how much they inject in you,
Mm-hmm.
so you could get a dry one, or you could get like the full dose.
Yeah.
But
So
it was just funny. Like as a whole, I enjoyed the movie. Like I'm not gonna say
it's a nice
it
bit of
was.
fan fiction,
Yeah, it
which
was
is what I say.
okay.
Well, no, I don't say that about the sequel trilogy. That is bad fan fiction.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, at least Crystal Skull is enjoyable fan fiction.
That was my thing. Was like, I enjoy a lot of things. Like I try to find the good in everything, but like, God, the sequels were so garbage. Like,
All right, you're redeeming yourself. You're coming back out of it now.
well, here's my thing is like I just I could not understand how we like so the way we went like with in terms of Star Wars movies was you had the first three, which was good storytelling. You had the prequels, which was mediocre storytelling, but some of the best choreography ever
And
to
effects.
exist and special effects ever to exist. The waterfalls, they used sand, falling sand, and then ran it through like a CG to generate the waterfalls on Naboo. Like some of the things they did were unheard of. It revolutionized things in the industry.
Well, that's Lucas
And
for you.
then we got,
And Lucasfilm.
yeah, and then we got the sequels.
Which is
And like you
don't
had
don't.
Ray.
I'm just don't don't get me started. This
Listen,
will be its own episode, and we will bring in a new geek
no,
for that one. We're gonna pull our punches. I'm sorry, we're gonna
I
pull our
know,
punches. I'm with you. I'm
I
with you.
know. Man, I didn't even watch the last
We
one.
don't have enough
Like
time to
I
dive
heard,
down this hole.
I heard about the last one in the sequels, and I was just like,
Yeah.
that's all I
Well,
have to say about
we
it. Is just a
we
loud
will cross
exhale.
this road one day. I promise we will cross
Yeah,
this road one day. But we're gonna bring in. We're gonna make sure the voice is here, and we're gonna bring in a new geek for that one. It
Yes.
yeah.
it will come.
Uh, do I have
I
to watch the last one to be a part of that? I don't
no
wanna. I
no
don't
you
want to do
don't.
it.
You don't.
Don't make me do it.
You absolutely do not. It'll be all right.
Yeah,
So
we're not gonna make you do that.
so to kind of shift gears on a lighter note, we'll talk. We'll shift a little more. We won't harp and be grumpy old geeks the whole episode.
Hey,
I mean, we are grumpy old
speak for
geeks
yourself.
grumping,
I'm not old.
but you're just grumpy.
The
You're like,
grumpy.
you're like, no, I'm not.
So grumpy.
I'm a nice guy. I look for the nice things. And he muted himself. I mean, that is our motto, grumpy old geeks grumping. But no. To kind of shift gears, so I think this will have some good conversation. I had a dream last night, and I told my wife about it, and of course she laughed. So I had a dream. We were by the old East Town Mall, and I don't know if it was still the mall as we were driving around the backside of it,
Sorry about that.
or no, you're good. I don't know if it was still the mall or the Amazon Center yet, but we were on that road that goes behind the mall, and we were coming around to the Toys R Us side, the old Toys R Us side, and I look up and I see the Toys R Us is open. Now this is like I'm aware in the dream, Toys R Us is closed, has been closed. They've been out of business, but this Toys R Us is open again. Signage is still there. But they have like closeout signs and stuff. Okay, so they didn't close out. They're not done, but they were still going out of business. So I pull in and go in, and it's the Toys R Us, East Town as I remember it. And I guess what has occurred is Toys R Us has magically somehow managed to find like this massive surplus of 30 years worth of toys that like like had just it got pushed to the back corner of a warehouse and nobody noticed it. So we've got to clear all this out now. So we're going to reload this store. So we're still going to have discount prices, because we're going out of business. And so what I dreamt that this Toys R Us had was all the old G.I. Joe vehicles and Joes, Masters of the Universe, Transformers, Ninja Turtles, video games, you name it. All right. New, still, well, I will say it was still in box, but it was like damaged boxes because they found it at like, this corner of a warehouse somewhere and realized, oh crap, we got to get rid of this stuff because we're going out of business. And I recall in the dream, like I found a decent in box, the box was in decent enough shape, like the Turtles sewer set and the Technodrome. And I distinctly also remember and I can't remember the actual name of the vehicle, but it was the Chinook from G.I. Joe. The twin blade helicopter.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact name of that particular vehicle, but they had it. And I found a copy of
theirs named something different?
Every G.I. Joe vehicle had its own particular name.
It had its own moniker.
Right. But it was the equivalent of a Chinook.
Yeah.
And then like a sealed copy of Final Fantasy III for the Super Nintendo. I mean, it was just like there was a point in the dream that I realized I was dreaming, and I was like frantically trying to get to the register to check out, as if I checked out, it would magically make it real, and I'd wake up and have this stuff. Like it was one of those rare dreams where it was just like so detailed and like felt so real. Like you just knew. But yeah, like I said, I was at a point I was like frantically, like I said, trying to get to the register, like that would make it real. It was not, but oh my gosh. Could you imagine, going to a Toys R Us and finding, some of those old gems with today's knowledge of what some of that is worth?
That was. I'm sitting here trying to figure out what the Chinook's name was. I'm like, oh my gosh, what was that?
What was that thing?
Because it was a transport helicopter, but I don't know.
Hang on.
And I'm not.
Oh my gosh!
Everybody desperately searching.
It's the Tomahawk. There you go.
Tomahawk.
What did you Google? I just Googled G.I. Joe Chinook. First thing.
Well, that's what I Googled, but it didn't come up.
Yeah, I had like an eBay listing for a Tomahawk helicopter and Lift Ticket. Lift Ticket was the pilot that came with it.
Never mind. For some reason,
you can't
I
Google.
don't know why. This thing opted to go to Bing. Bing. Stupid.
There's your first problem. You used Bing to find out the name of a G.I. Joe helicopter.
All I could think of is that post where it's like how to get rid of noisy neighbors, and Google shows like a pair of like earmuffs, like noise canceling earmuffs, and then Bing shows a shotgun.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, that's about right. It gives you all the answers you don't need and may not be legal.
And as I look at the box art for the Tomahawk, that is exactly what I saw in my dream. I've never had a Tomahawk. I've never even seen the box of the Tomahawk, but it's exactly what I dreamt. And I had a friend that did have the Tomahawk, and we used it for like a little fun, like stop motion video we did back in high school. But
I remember that.
Yes, Red Menace.
The Red Menace. I remember that. I remember watching that.
I do remember, yeah. But yeah, but it was the Tomahawk. But yeah,
Son flying in.
It was our tribute to the 80s action movie. But yeah, could you just imagine walking into the Toys R Us and finding some of these rare gems at clearance prices because they're going out of business? It was just just a fun dream, just something just like totally out
Was
of
it
left
though?
field.
Because
Crazy.
you woke up depressed.
Well,
Yeah. Oh, I
yeah,
was gonna say, yeah. Woke
I
up. Woke
did.
up. Oh.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, boy, I'd have lost my mind if I'd woke up with a Ninja Turtle sewer play set and Technodrome in my hands.
I've been like, hey, plug in. I need to
Oh,
go.
I
I need to
know.
go hit up some stores.
Right? Yeah. But, you look back. I mean, the dream reminded me of the old images of Toys R Us. Though, in the '80s, it was like the GI Joe aisle, the Transformers aisle.
Mm-hmm.
Like you didn't have to search for anything.
If you
They just
knew,
had it
if you
all.
knew
They
which
had a
aisle they were supposed to
surplus.
be on, that's where you went.
Yeah.
I never got to go to Toys R Us.
Really?
Yeah, my parents were too what's the word? Um
Frugal.
no, that's not it. It's they are they couldn't figure out that they actually had money and they were convinced that they were still poor.
Cheap.
Yes.
Zesty's trying to find this nice way to.
Yeah, no, my parents like, we could have all the money in the world and they're like, "Connor, don't forget to shut the fridge. It's like you're running up our electric bill. Mom, that is maybe 2 cents if I leave it open for 3 hours straight."
Look, as a dad now, I get that. Why is every light on in the house? And so I'll go through and just randomly start turning lights off. And then in a few minutes, I'm like, I just turned that light on. And I'm like, why do you need it?
You need it, yeah. Oh,
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, but I mean, and honestly,
it's just funny because now my
I-
dad's finally starting to get to the point. He's like, "Yeah, I have this money. It's okay if we spend a little bit." we are
loosened up a little
finally
bit.
we are finally reaching that point after 20 years.
I have a friend. I think his verbiage was like, "We can spend some money. We're not the poors."
Yeah.
No, I
Well,
mean,
that's
but
kind of
Toys.
how I felt. It's like, I mean, we ain't cruising around, with our babies in diapers because we ain't got clothes for them. Not out playing around in the dirt in the yard, or nothing. Like we're okay. I mean, we're okay. We're not rich by any stretch of the imagination,
Right?
but we're making ends meet, for the most part.
Yeah. We can swing for that. We'll be okay. I promise. It will not break the bank.
And we can have some nice things.
We can have some nice stuff. Not great, but nice.
Well, we won't go hog wild, but we can get that.
We can
Now,
we can have spam. We don't have to go for treat.
We can go. We can go shop at Target every once in a while. It'd be okay instead of Walmart.
I mean, really, you're not in that like you're not really sheltered or locked off, Zesty. I mean,
No.
honestly, growing up, Toys R Us was really, I would say, maybe a once or twice a year visit. Maybe. Typically, in all honesty, it was never around Christmas. It would usually be around my birthday, which
I was gonna say birthday.
is around my birthday, where then I could go in, maybe look around, and then maybe I would go in around my sister's birthday. But I honestly, growing up, I can't remember a single time being in a Toys R Us around the Christmas season. So it was a rare treat, for us too. I mean,
I think my parents were afraid I would touch something and break it and then they'd have to buy it.
No, that's only if you went to Crystal Visions in Easttown.
Yes.
Or Bronner's. My parents were terrified in Bronner's that I would just destroy the entire store.
You'd have to be working pretty hard to destroy the entire store of Bronner's. I mean, the place
They were
like
convinced that I could do it. They were like, that boy could break an anvil.
Well, I mean, they're not wrong.
No,
you could.
By any stretch
You
of the
come by it
imagination.
honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was probably once or maybe twice a year. I don't think I remember most about Toys R Us though was the pool tickets, the way they did video games. You know, you would you'd go find the picture of the game you wanted. You know, the box art, and then you'd have to lift up this little flap, and you'd pull this ticket. Then you'd go to the front register,
and then
hand that to the lady or dude, you know, whoever's ringing you up. Pay them the money, then take the receipt and the ticket over to like this glass like fortress. I mean, it was kind of weird because you could see in it, but
and
you couldn't go in.
You could see all the games and stuff.
Oh my gosh, the games!
You could see the consoles and the games.
Oh my gosh, it was Fort Knox for kids. When it comes to video games,
And now you just walk up and just like, ooh, this looks good.
You hand your ticket to the person overseeing it, and he'd go in, pull your game, hand it to you. It was so much fun. Which does remember Children's Palace? Do you remember that one, Lazy?
Yes. Love Children's Palace.
Children's Palace.
I was telling somebody about Children's Palace just like a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about it, and they were like,
"What's a Children's Palace?
What's Children's Palace?" And I was like, "Oh my goodness."
That is where my Ghostbusters Firehouse came from.
They were talking about it, and they said they were talking about a building, and they were like, "It's over." They were like, "It was over like Kingston Pike, and it looked like a castle, or like some kind of medieval looking thing." And I was like, "Children's Palace."
Children's
Palace. Were like, "What?" I was like, "You're talking about Children's Palace." And they're like, "No, I don't think that's right." And I'm like, "On Kingston Pike, over in that neck of the woods, looked like a castle. Big end, had flags on the top, the towers, stuff." But yeah, I said, Children's Palace. They were like, "I don't think I've ever heard of that." I was like, that's because it went out.
When you talk to people, it's always Toys R Us, but it's a rarer person that's heard of Children's Palace.
I didn't even know it existed.
They closed up. They closed up very early. I mean, even I don't have a lot of memory. I honestly, I have like maybe one memory I remember of Children's Palace.
I'm Googling.
I remember
and all the ads are like from the 90s.
I remember an end cap. I remember an end cap filled with Ghostbusters firehouses, and then close to the register, the ticket pool. Because they had a similar ticket pool system for games and stuff. And yeah, I have like one memory I can remember. I miss that place. But and that was gosh, the stores that were just for us back then.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, and if you got to go there, man, you were just like, you were in heaven.
I was young, and the memories that I do have, it was like there was I don't know, it sounds kind of funny, but there was a smell that certain toys, like that I'll say that new plastic smell, but there was a certain smell that some of the toys, especially of that age,
that new toy smell.
Yeah, the new toy smell. And I remember that smell specifically, but I remember of everything else that was there. I remember Stretch Armstrong. It was the first time I'd ever seen one, and I'd heard tales about it, but that was the first time I ever saw one. Was at Children's Palace, and they had one out where you could, of course, people were grabbing him and
doing the
running
stretching
into the stores with him, an arm and a leg or something, along those lines. And so it was pretty crazy, but it was they were very similar in in having just a plethora of games and toys, and they had like some of the coolest ride-on stuff that you get, like the old you remember the battery operated jobs,
the old power
wheel, yeah, like power wheels.
Yep.
Okay. So like,
because I had a 4-wheeler.
I had a 3-wheeler that was police 3-wheeler.
Okay.
And my brother had a chopper. It was like a motorcycle.
Yeah.
But it was a 3-wheeler too. And so we'd ride those around in the basement.
Yep.
And of course,
oddly enough, that's where I rode my stuff before it was finished. As you knew it at my house. But yeah, it was just that concrete slab.
Yeah. So
man,
but they had all kinds of stuff. And then Toys R Us came to town, and we didn't really go to Toys R Us as much. I remember going to, because there was another store that was called Heels that was out in Fountain City kind of area. And it was kind of reminiscent of like a Target. It was like a Target before a Target.
Right.
And then when they went out of business, oddly enough, who moved in that building? Target.
Was a Target.
So yeah,
I still remember. I know this is a tangent, but I still remember that Target in Fountain City, because that was the one that me and another friend camped out in front of the night of the episode 3 toy release. And we actually we had went to the Clinton Highway one first, waiting for them to open, because they had an exclusive Lava Edition Darth Vader, which ended up being worthless. Absolutely worthless. I sold it in a lot, a couple years ago. But they gave us the ticket, because they only had so many, but they gave us the ticket for it. And we went back to the car at the Clinton Highway one, and we're like, okay, well, cool. Well, now what do we do? Because we got this ticket and we're guaranteed. And we thought, well, shoot, man, Fountain City ain't that far away. Let's go to that Target. So we camped out in front of that Target, and they actually made you wait until they opened before they gave you the ticket. That's where they messed up. And oddly enough, that's where I was introduced to Bleach, because he was watching Bleach on, I think, on his laptop or something, when we were waiting.
Oh gosh!
And I'm not kidding. This, to show you how far back this goes, I think he was around episode 30.
Good grief!
Had just came out. So, do the math. That was a while ago. And you got to think how long Bleach was off air. Bleach has just now came back.
Which I still need to watch it.
Yeah, I started it, but I'm a few episodes behind. But yeah, that Fountain City Target, we camped out and we waited. We got our tickets, got the Lava Edition Darth Vader for episode 3, and then went back to the Clinton Highway one. So I had 2 of those. And again, they ended up being worthless. I sold it in a lot.
Didn't y'all get that was the same night that they had the see-through Yoda?
That sounds dirty.
It been?
I don't remember that one. I know that Target had the Lava Edition Darth Vader. It was like an old Power of the Force, like 1997 Darth Vader, with just a little bit of like lava red tint on him. It wasn't that special. It really wasn't. But it was in the episode 3 packaging.
Let's see here.
You going to Google me? Careful, man! Don't put
Google rating.
Don't put into Google see-through Yoda. You don't know what you're going to get. You might get something you don't want.
Well, at least this time, I got it in Google and not Bing.
Yeah, that's the first step.
I want to think that this one was Force Unleashed.
Oh, okay.
That's what this
Back
one
when Star Wars games were awesome. I know. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Stop me, Zesty. Stop me.
When he pulled a Star Destroyer out of orbit.
That I did disagree with. But we've had a little bit of that discussion.
Yeah, we talked about it. Like, it's not the craziest thing they've done in Star Wars lore.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the Sith Lords literally made a child out of the Force.
There was definitely room for some boundaries on Force powers.
Well, the whole thing was like, especially with him, I forget his name now. Starkiller.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be even more Force sensitive and powerful than Darth Vader himself.
Yeah.
Even in his prime. And so, like, to be more powerful than
yes, it
than
was
Anakin
a Revenge of the Sith holographic Yoda figure, and it was a Toys R Us exclusive. That was what I was thinking of. There was one I remember. There was one that you all went and looked at, and it was around the same time that the lava
edition.
The lava edition, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't think it was that out of the ordinary.
Yeah, right now it looks like the range is anywhere between like $38 to $27. Oh, there's one guy attempting it for like $380. It's like, look, like the Star Wars market
Good luck with
crashed a long time ago. Like I don't care that you've got it AFA rated. Nobody wants it. That's why I gave it away in a lot, several years ago.
Yeah, this one's selling. It's a Toys R Us exclusive and the whole 9 yards, and it's all fancy schmancy looking, and it's only $9.85 on Amazon Prime.
I could probably rebuild my old collection for cheaper than I sold it for. The way it's gone. Or at least get the ones that I care about. But yeah.
Now they've got an Anakin Skywalker battle damage. And it is apparently it done pretty good because it's like $50.
Wow. I remember, now I did keep this one because it was special to me. Unfortunately, over time, the glue wore out and broke the bubble off the card. I mean, it literally just fell off. But I still have 2 theater edition Luke Skywalkers from the special edition first showing.
He needs some sticky glue, Lazy.
From 1997.
Need you some.
You mean tactical
glue?
You said Lazy.
No, I was talking because that joke is like it's kind of an inside joke.
Okay. But yeah, no, I have 2 of those, and they ended up being worthless too. But they were special because that was not me and Dad. Dad took me to Return of the Jedi Special Edition, and me and him both got those. So yeah, I did keep those, but yeah, a lot of that stuff just tanked. Worthless. Can barely give it away. Yeah, and it doesn't help that, Hasbro never really stopped making Star Wars figures. Like they did after Return of the Jedi, when there was no more Star Wars for the foreseeable future. When they started bringing that stuff out in prep for the special editions, around 97, they haven't stopped. So it's like, well, which flavor of Luke do you want?
Man,
I mean,
at this point, Hasbro is the collector, or is the Disney of collectibles.
Yeah,
because like everything that they've gotten their hands on, they have ruined.
Hell, I'm pissed at them anyway because, I'm at a point. I try and budget, for what I spend on figures, and honestly, I'm on my way out of it. I'm done. I've got the figures that are important to me, the characters that are important to me, the displays, how I want them. I'm on my way out. But I do try and, I'm trying to rein it in, try and budget on what I spend. And Hasbro's like, we got to have an awesome fourth quarter. Let's ship these G.I. Joe classified guys that were supposed to ship in March magically. Let's pull this out of our ass. And, so now it's like, I'm like, man, I really wasn't planning on spending anything this month. And now I've got to, like, I've got to, jot down $70 for, classified figures that were not due until March. Hasbro Pulse had it listed March. But hey, we need a good fourth quarter, so let's cram that shit out of China as fast as we can.
Well, they own almost everything collectible now. They own Magic the Gathering. I think they own Magic the Gathering.
Hey, and I know you guys.
They just bought up Pokemon.
I know you guys love your card games. Be careful. Hasbro will ruin your shit.
Well, they've been.
I'm serious. I mean,
I think
there's a reason I'm getting out of the game. And quality will go downhill. That's another reason I'm considering getting out, especially G.I. Joe Classified. I've seen so many pictures of, you get it out, and guys are having to soak their figures in warm water so the joints loosen up. So when you try and do a natural movement with the figure, it doesn't break. I mean, I've seen images of, whoa, he's going to fall. There he goes. This awesome, amazing classified, Serpentor. And
big hover wagon.
Comes with the chariot and all that. And I've seen pictures. The moment someone tried to pose it out of the box, the elbow snapped. I'm done with the quality control issues. People spend a lot of money on this stuff. And
yeah,
I'm just saying, be careful.
Well,
with Hasbro in charge of it now, be mindful because they'll fleece you.
So the main company that owns Magic the Gathering is Wizards of the Coast. They also own D&D, and so Hasbro is the parent company of Wizards of the Coast.
Don't get me started on Wizards.
Yeah, but it's just like that's who owns Magic, and their quality control on a lot of their foils, so that the shinies has been subpar at best.
I believe it.
Like, I'm not joking. I saw an article here recently, like one of the people that is like actually like goes around to tournaments, and he's pretty well known. He got kicked out of a tournament because he was running. They do these special drops with special arts, and one of the cards that he runs in his deck was of that set. They call them secret layers, where you can basically just buy these special print runs of these cards with special arts. Well, the foiling was so bad that you could kind of see the card in the deck, and so they accused him of purposely trying to rig his deck with these cards because they weren't perfectly flat.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, because what happens is when they come into humidity or moisture or anything, they curl up. Like the center of the card raises up, and the sides will curve in, and we call it pringling because it looks like a Pringle chip. And
but I bet if you grabbed a card from 20 years ago, if somebody took good care of it, it'd still be fine.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is like certain sets don't do it. Like the ones that do it the worst are typically the Secret Layers and the Commander Legends.
Yeah.
Commander Legends was one of the sets that started the whole term it's pringled. And so but then but heck their new set Kamigawa, they're actually pretty good foiling. Like it's got a slight bend to it, but it's been sitting on my desk for like
you almost don't want to touch it.
Well, I mean, like it's been sitting on my desk for like 6 months, and
so
it's like
an actual open.
Yeah, just like nothing. It was just
well,
like one of these. And so
that's kind of part of the reason, like, so I've got like the Hero Quest stuff, and I'd still really like to get a group together to play it. But when I bought it, I pulled every card from, because I backed the HasLab thing, or set where you got all these expansions and all this. I pulled every card out of that and immediately put it in a protective sleeve.
Yeah, that's what we do. I'm actually sitting right here with an unopened
Unfinity.
Yeah, Unfinity and Magic.
That's one of the joke sets. So like they have a bunch of cards in it that just do goofy things that make no sense.
Go ahead and open it. Look, see what I got.
So there you go. Because like one of the cards I got, it says all your tokens are still tokens, and tokens are like meat shields. So as soon as they leave the field, they cease to exist. And it says all your tokens are still tokens, and you can cast tokens from your hand and graveyard. Well, the thing is, tokens only exist on the field, so as soon as they leave the field, they're gone. You can't cast something that doesn't exist. But that's the whole point of the set. It just they introduce these really dumb rules just for the fun of it, because it's a joke set. Like
no, I got one here. It looks like a sticker sheet. And it's got like where you can just take and pull a sticker off and stick it over one of your cards and they can do something.
Like the whole point of the set is it's just supposed to be as goofy as possible. Yes, the hats.
Yeah.
One of the cards says like if you have a card with a hat, you do something.
Here.
And I was like,
I'll actually like let y'all like, see me for real for a change, and then you can
see whoa, careful. It's the real Lazy.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I love that so much.
This is commemorate your adventures and customize your cards.
Did you get any of the pretty lands?
I hadn't actually looked. The Astratorium. I got a bunch of Astratorium stuff. Dart throw.
Yeah.
Bounce chamber. And ticket bucket bot. That goes right along in line with my
runaway trash bot.
Runaway trash bot. Robo Pinata.
Yep.
That one's actually kind of funny. Read the bottom. I am filled with delicious candies. I am not a trick. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
some of the flavor texts are great. What is it? Oh,
Finishing move.
what's the flavor text say? I can't see because of your name.
It says, what the show lacks in historical accuracy, it makes up for in awesome submission holds. Okay. That's funny.
nice.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. No.
But like, and I'll say to their defense, like the Wizards of the Coast has done a pretty decent job with Magic in the fact of the cards that they're coming out with look great, and like the foils look great. They just have some issues with like the quality of the foil.
Well, and my issues with Wizards of the Coast goes to D&D, so
Yeah.
it's a separate thing.
Well, they even made a D&D set of Magic. So like
Of course they did.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was actually really well done. It was really good.
Yeah. The Dungeons and Dragons set that the collector sets.
It
that
was
they did.
Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the
Baldur's
Forgotten
Gate.
Realm. And so the whole thing was like it was based around like Baldur's Gate, and it was pretty well done actually. It was really fun because like a lot of the big chase cards in Baldur's Gate were the ancient dragons. They were all the metal dragons.
Yeah.
And so they were.
Did you say meth dragons?
No.
Yes, the meth dragons.
Yes, the meth dragons.
Like
Oh
cocaine bear.
gosh, that's a horrifying concept. Meth dragons.
Like cocaine bear, but worse. The only bad part about it is, or the only good part about it is that after a while they all lose their teeth, so you just get gummed to death.
What?
What's worse than a cocaine bear? A meth dragon.
Does this dragon not feel pain? No. That's the whole point.
He's methed out of his mind.
Yeah.
He's ripped out of his mind. He don't care.
Oh gosh, it's horrible.
Is this the 5 free meth giveaway?
If I from what I read out of Wizards of the Coast now, if I did anything D&D, I'd just have to track down an old like 3.0, 3.5 book or something.
Well, I mean, like
I just have to find the old stuff.
Listen, at this point, like I want to do my own campaign, and I'm going to base it around Magic the Gathering. I'm just going to make my own rules. Like at that point, I'm
That
just
sounds like something you'd do, Zesty.
Well, the thing is like I'm going to try and base it off like the initial groundwork of D&D, but I want people to have fun with it. And so if like somebody says something that they want to do and it's not completely stupid, I will let it go because that sounds fun. And so I feel like a lot of people just need to do that. Like not necessarily worry about being so strict on the rules and just have fun with it because that's the whole point anyway.
Well, see, and that's typically how I tried to run it way, way, way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Was more about trying to tell a story and just having fun.
Yeah.
And I know there was rules that I bent or changed or modified just for the sake of the story and the fun. So I get that. I get that.
The Star Wars one campaign that we ran, actually both of them, but the main one that we ran, there was a lot of weirdness with like how the space battles happened. Like,
I never could figure out that rule set.
The ship combat was
all over the place.
Yeah, it was crazy. And
honestly, and that's why I kind of like glazed over that portion of it and mainly focused on the story that involved you all as actual characters versus your ship. Yeah. I never, and I don't know, maybe as, older, more experienced individual, if I went back and reread that, those rules would make more sense because I still have all those old books. Maybe something could be done with it, but at the time that we ran that, it made no sense to me, or it just seemed really convoluted.
Well, they're really bad about that too, especially at Wizards. Some things just are convoluted, and they don't think about how they're wording things sometimes, and so they'll have to go back and change it.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
with the Star Wars campaigns and stuff we ran, and honestly, at this point, you're 2022. I mean, you're knocking real close to 20 years ago.
yeah.
When I was a young warthog.
You're trying to run. Yeah.
When he was a young warthog.
Mm-hmm. You're trying to do space combat on a mat that's a 2D plane, essentially, but space is a 3D,
Yeah.
6D chess.
Yeah. So I always just glazed over it and said, well, you encounter this and you fight and dogfight and tell me what you're going to do. And we did a high level.
Well, sometimes like that's enough. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be beyond that. Like the most you should do with like any of that, I feel like, is like, hey, do you want to get this upgrade for your ship? It costs X amount of dollars. Cool. Now you deal a little bit more damage in space combat. And just do normal rolls. Don't worry about like.
Well, that was the other thing is like because the weapons, like the weapons on the ship, they would do like you'd be rolling D6s for days.
All right, everybody, pull your D6s together. We got to make this one roll.
Yeah. It's like, well, you just be sitting here just rolling, just because it'd be like 8, 9, 10 D6. It's like, what the frick? But it was crazy, the dynamics of how you like what rolls you would have to roll to get into combat and through combat, and then what the other, whoever your adversary is.
I will still say my greatest feat. There was two. There was really two really awesome feats I pulled off as a DM during those Star Wars campaigns, and I really wish the voice was here for this because I know he loved those Star Wars campaigns we did.
I did too. I had a lot of fun.
We did. We had a lot of fun.
I've still got my character sheet.
Yeah,
on both of them.
And I know the voice does. Gunny McShooterstein. The two greatest feats that I did was in the first campaign when I had the betrayal of the one guy that, oh gosh, I can't even remember now. When everybody thought he was a good guy, he was a good Jedi. Y'all found him. He was like the cousin or brother of the Voices character, I think. And unfortunately, he's not here to correct me. But either way, that betrayal when he stabbed in the back the other guy, the NPC that was with you all, and he revealed himself as being bad guy. And the other one, the big one, I know you'll remember, when I did the Clone Wars campaign, and I played that like we were in the middle of the Clone Wars. It's just a Clone Wars story. And then I dropped Order 66 right in the middle of it.
Yep. Yes, you did.
Oh, gosh. Because I hid that. I was just like, nope. This is just a Clone Wars story. We're just in the middle of the Clone Wars. You had no idea how close y'all were to Order 66. And I dropped that in there.
Yeah, because I remember
execute Order 66.
Yeah, one of our other friends, mutual friend, he was playing with us, and he was actually a Jedi in that, and his was, I guess he was the same race as Plo Koon.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so he had the little breathing apparatus on. So when he was talking, but yeah, we we had a lot of fun with it.
Oh, that was great because I believe it was the voice. It was his character, because I did all this stuff, and it's like your clones turned on you because you had just won that base, that droid factory facility, whatever y'all were attacking, and your clones turned on you, and he just did this he did good. He did great. He did amazing, and I hope he watches
Was
this
that the one
episode.
that we flew? We were in the top of the base.
You went in through the sewers to sneak in, and then you got it to the top of the base,
and we jumped out the window.
He force pushed you all.
Yes.
He sacrificed his own self, if I remember correctly. Again, I wish he was here for this, the way this conversation has gone. But yeah, he sacrificed himself. He force pushed you all and detonated something. He's just he was quick thinking to try and save you all when your all's clones turned.
Yep. But then he ended up having to fight whoever his nemesis was during that battle.
Yeah. I still think I have the notes. I'm looking. Star Wars campaign. I'm pulling it up now.
Because I remember you set up the nemesis for
because I had set up,
Dave's character. And he literally one-shotted him.
That was hilarious. Now, that was in the...
Roll a 20 and then roll another 20.
I think that was in the original. That was
the original, yeah.
The original one we did. And,
he was a Wookiee. And
he was a Wookiee.
Had a bowcaster.
He had the bowcaster. And I had set up everything with him and his nemesis. And you're right.
He killed it instantly.
You're right. He did. He one-shot it. He blew his ass to hell.
Oh, he
he vaporized him. There was nothing left. My notes are incomplete for that, unfortunately.
Oh, boo!
Because I have it. I have a folder like Star Wars Clone Wars campaign. Yeah, we'll have to. We have another open mic night. We'll have to remember. We'll pick the voices brain on that one. I mean, like I said, it was dang well near 20 years ago.
Yeah, every bit of it.
God, I feel old.
That's because you are.
Fuck you, Zesty. I'm gonna drag your ass to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, you getting a date, but it ain't gonna be with the one you pick.
We're gonna sit down. You're gonna eat your chicken. I'm gonna slide back. Me and Lazy both. We're gonna slide back up and be like, "Hey, see that guy over there? He calls himself the Zesty Geek because he loves your zesty buffalo sauce. But it ain't gonna be the girl you want.
He likes the zesty buffalo. He is the Zesty Buffalo, and he will give you the Zesty Buffalo.
You want some Zesty? He's got it.
Whole heaping bag of it. Just pour it all over you.
That sounds almost like an STD. I got the Zesty.
It might be. It might be.
It might be.
In fact, we could end up cock blocking you off of that. And she'd be like, I don't want the Zesty. And like, no, you don't. You really don't.
Yeah. You don't.
Well, on that note, does anybody have anything else? Anything on their mind?
No, I think I'm about talked out.
About talked out. We've had some good laughs tonight. We have.
Yeah. I'm supposed to start my first campaign next week.
Okay.
So
I have no advice because it's 20 years old at this point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, eventually, I'm hoping that it'll go well. Lazy's going to be a part of it, and then my two
Okay.
cousins are going to be a part of it.
Oh, them
And
I'm
guys.
going to be a goblin.
Yes. Oh
Yes.
crap! I don't have my notes. I forgot what your goblin was named.
Goblin McShooterstein.
Yeah. No. Yes. No.
We were gonna joke and give him because there's this character called Squee the Immortal in Magic, and it's basically just this immortal goblin, and you can cast him from anywhere, even outside of the game. He just doesn't die.
Okay.
And so we were joking. It's like we're gonna get Germ in these fights, and he's gonna like die part of the way through, and then after the fight is over, he just kind of gets up.
Just gotta go over and wake me up. Hey, done.
Oh,
Get
There
up.
you go now.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I name him?
I don't remember, but I've got the notes.
I know we named one of the characters is Bees Churger.
Yeah, Bees Churger. But it should be a pretty good laugh,
Oh,
and
yawning.
I'll tell you
I
about
am.
it
Sorry.
the next time that we do one of these. We can do a
Okay.
short little talk about my first session. But yeah, it's supposed to be based in the Magic the Gathering universe, and so I created like custom spells for all the players.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so
That works.
basically I gave them a spell list to pick from. I made custom spells for everybody, and then I was like, so you get to choose from these. You get like 3 cantrips and like 2 first level spells. And then I was like, and that's what you start with. And I was like,
Nice.
and that is all I have given them so far. So I hope it goes well.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
Yeah.
It's a learning process. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't DM'd in like almost 20 years. I'm rounding up. I am really rounding up, but 20 years. I don't know. Eventually, I hope I would love to bust out my Hero Quest stuff
Yeah.
that
Well,
I've got.
if you ever get an itch, you could come join us.
I'll be honest. I'm paranoid. And this goes back to the watch your quality of product with Hasbro.
Yeah.
Because I want to play with this Hero Quest stuff, but it's like I want really mature people to handle the miniatures. There will be no children around it. Like, it's like I hate to be that way, but it's like I just don't trust Hasbro plastic to endure. And so it's like I just don't want to take a chance of any child at all, or even man-child.
Breaking it out.
Even man-child coming up and being like, "Oh, look at this," and he just snapped the sword. You know what I mean? But I would love to bust out the Hero Quest stuff, especially since I backed it, and I keep buying the expansions for it from Hasbro. But I'd really love to play it, because honestly, at this point, that's more my speed. Here's a pre-planned adventure. You're already in the dungeon. Here's your character cards. It's all set up.
Just doing a dungeon crawl.
Just doing a dungeon crawl. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to do that at some point eventually. And honestly, Zesty and Lazy, you guys are welcome, as well as Voice. I mean, you three are ones that I would pick to be part of that anyway. So really, we would only need one more person, because I think it's designed for 4. So
Yeah. That could be fun.
it would be fun. If
If
I hadn't went full old man and wanted to go to sleep, I almost brought it that one night of Extra Life. But I was just like, I'm tired and want to go to bed. So
yeah.
which at this point, I think we've had a pretty good run. Unless somebody has something just groundbreaking and amazing and awesome, I think we're probably at a good point to wrap it up. Start wrapping it up.
Yeah.
Yuppie.
I agree. And I don't have anything earth shattering.
I don't. I really don't either. But I think we'll plan to get back together in 2 weeks. Next week I've got some stuff going on, so I know that much. But I would say in 2 weeks, let's plan for a Christmas episode. We'll do. Okay. I wouldn't call it Shooting the Breeze 3, but I think we could have a good open-ended Christmas discussion.
We could go watch Violent Night together at some point.
We could, as long as we go to Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
We could maybe do that. Yeah, we'll see.
Then we could talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we did with the Dragon
We'll
Ball
have
Super.
to let
episode.
Dragon Ball Super.
We'll have to let the
voice
the kitten puncher geek know, because he's one to
yeah.
So, no, that sounds good. So we'll plan in 2 weeks. We will do a Christmas related episode. We'll probably title it something different. I don't know that I would put that under the Shooting the Breeze umbrella.
It Humbug.
That's actually not a bad idea. We may do that. So, but no, I don't have anything else. Zesty, Lazy.
I'm good.
I'm good, brother.
All right. Well, let me.
Although my beard is like down to here.
It does look like it's down to there. It's like a dwarf beard.
I do. Look, it's just a shadow.
Oh, now it's really weird.
Oh, you want to see something really weird?
Oh, I don't. But I'm gonna.
Yeah, you are.
Oh no, he brought back the Jim Carrey.
It's Jim Carrey.
It is so weird how well that attaches to your face.
Now put your fingers on your chin.
God, you weirdo.
This is
on that note, I think we're probably good.
Yep.
So
we're good.
If you've watched and made it this far, thank you. We appreciate it. Like,
subscribe,
share, comment,
share.
Subscribe. We're totally out of order here between the two of us.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. Stay fit.
Cocaine bad.
Okay.
Stay sharp. Make smart decisions. All right. Let that beautiful bean footage
Who
roll.
wants a body massage?